Welcome to UC Today. My name is David Dungay. I'm here with William Rubio today from CallTower. Hi William, how you doing?
Pretty good, David. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. For our listeners and video audience who may not be familiar with CallTower, can you give us a quick rundown of yourself and the business, please?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, thanks, David, for having us on. Appreciate that always. And for everybody out there, my name is William Rubio. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer over at CallTower. And CallTower really focuses on business customers anywhere from about 25 users to thousands. And for the past 18 years, we've been really a pioneer in unified communications, and we are strategically positioned to really deliver a full end-to-end solution and not really a product with our core platform. So it's more about solutions more than anything else. Our core platforms, though, do consist of Microsoft, Cisco, and Metaswitch as well. So we do have some pretty good platforms there. And then with these platforms and our global footprint and our gold partner status with Microsoft and with Cisco, we're able to develop or deliver, I should say, these flexible solutions in roughly about 70 countries. So we're able to provide these platforms separately or integrated together to really make sure that we drive a full end-to-end solution for our customers. And we're able to layer on different things like contact centers, Office 365, SIP, SD-WAN to really provide that full turnkey solution for our clients. So that's kind of, I guess, our elevator pitch of who we are overall. overall.
Yeah, wow, some big brands in there. Okay, well let's talk about 2020. It's been a one kind of odd year for us all, but for UCaaS, in some ways, it's been just an absolute breakout year. Tell us, what's your assessment of the UCaaS space sort of today as it stands?
Sure. Well, 2020 has definitely been a completely different year than what we've been used to previously. I think when you look at it overall, and I'm going to, first day January, February, March, right, when the whole COVID thing was starting to have that to happen, you had a lot of customers that were saying, or a lot of organizations that were saying, well, we're getting ready to move to unified communications as a service. We're making the transition to the cloud. I think the early adopters were already there and now is becoming more mainstream. But what wound up happening toward that March, April timeframe is it accelerated the plans for a lot of organizations that said, hey, we just got to rip the cord on this and we just got to go. And we got to go quickly on it. So for unified communications, as far as the industry goes, it's really accelerated when you start to see some of the numbers out there as far as the industry being a multi-billion-dollar industry, really just kind of increasing that probably the numbers that we were projecting for 2022 and beyond have really come forth now in 2020 overall. So it's really just changed overall that dramatically what we've seen. And unfortunately, it took a pandemic for that to happen, but I think a lot of organizations are really starting to see the benefits of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, some of those organizations you mentioned in your elevator pitch at the beginning, particularly Microsoft and Cisco, you've developed quite an interesting proposition around these two companies with your sort of integrations. Can you tell us a little bit about, why have you pinned your colors to these two massive vendors?
Sure. Well, I think prior to 2020, you started to see that there was a little bit of a compression in the industry, especially around unified communications, because you had everybody pretty much starting to provide similar services. Everybody was doing presence management, video, desktop sharing, instant messaging, right? I mean, it was all kind of the same thing. And then all of a sudden, you saw that Microsoft really kind of separated themselves, and even Cisco for the most part, when they started to implement and really launch Microsoft Teams and Cisco Webex Teams. And what they do, I mean, I kind of call it, I don't know if it's been really coined in the industry, but kind of, I call it UCaaS 3.0, which is really kind of the next evolution of UCaaS. And they've really separated themselves again from the competition out there overall, because what customers are looking for is really the collaboration side, which, yeah, unified communications did it to a point, but not to the way that Cisco Webex Teams and Microsoft Teams is doing it. So they've really kind of set the bar a little bit different overall. So we've always been, for the past 18 years, really tied into Cisco and into Microsoft. And we just figured that those are really a couple of good horses to really invest in. The core platforms are bar none the best in the industry. And what we bring to the table is really just those add-on services and the support features that those big organizations really lack. And they lack them on purpose. They really focus more on organizations like CallTower, which are their partners, to really bring that added service and solutions to the table. So we feel really comfortable where we're at overall. Our customers are really excited with what we're doing into 2021. And Cisco and Microsoft are the leaders. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. Microsoft recently just announced they've hit 115 million daily active users on Teams, which is just phenomenal growth. Okay, should we start with Microsoft Teams and the roadmap there? Can you tell us a little bit about that? What's going on from a development point of view? And you mentioned in your last piece there about this UCaaS 3.0. What does that mean, and how does Microsoft fit into that?
Sure. Well, Microsoft is at the core, right, of the foundation of everything that's being provided within that UCaaS offering overall. But we do also understand that some customers are looking for more than just some of the basic unified communications services, including the collaboration piece, right? So what I mean by that is different things like SMS texting, CCaaS, right? A lot of times they're now implementing CCaaS into their UCaaS offering overall. Faxing, credit card machines, door buzzers, paging, equipment management, whether it's headsets, whether it's video type of room services, or even handsets. Those are different things that Microsoft, as part of their core platform, just is not interested in providing. It's just not part of their core offering. So that's when somebody like CallTower comes in and really just provides that full end-to-end solution. You want CCaaS, you don't have to go somewhere to a UCaaS or to a CCaaS provider. We actually have a couple different options, one being Five9 and another one being what we call our CallTower Contact Center Solution, which is a private label that we do, but it's all invoiced and supplied by CallTower. So we do the maintenance, the support, the onboarding, the design, all for the customers to make sure that we provide them that full end-to-end solution. And that's what they're looking for. So they like the core, but they want more than just the core, and that's what CallTower does to the table.
Can you tell us anything about 2021, and are we going to see any exciting new plans that you can tell us about around the Teams proposition?
Sure. So one of the things that we've been hearing from our customers, and we get a lot from potential customers and also our existing customers, is say, hey, we love this. We love what Microsoft Teams is doing overall. We have a concern. What if Microsoft Teams, like anything else, nothing is 100% risk-proof. So what happens if Microsoft Teams goes down? Before, with Microsoft, if my email goes down, if my instant messaging goes down, okay, I can live with that for a little bit because I know I'm going to get those emails eventually. But if my voice goes down, if my CCaaS goes down, what am I going to do, right? I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. So one of the things that we've done, and we're just continuing to enhance it because we do offer it now, is we're giving customers different solutions to make sure that if in case there is some type of service interruption on the application with Microsoft, that we could divert their calls, reroute them either automatically or manually for the customers. It just really depends on who the user is. So what we might do is maybe for an office instance, we'll reroute their main number to another location or to another platform like Metaswitch, which was just actually acquired by Microsoft in May, and we are a Metaswitch partner as well. Or we could just manually take an individual's DID or telephone number and just reroute it to their mobile number or to another device. So we are coming up with different solutions for customers so that they could continue to have some type of business continuity overall. That's really one of the main things that we're looking at and focusing that we're really going to continue to enhance in 2021.
Sure. Okay. And we're talking about routing there, or routing for our American friends. Direct routing and the Microsoft proposition. It's a huge opportunity, especially for channel partners out there. I've noticed, CallTower, you've got this native direct routing. Can you explain what that is first of all, and why partners need to be looking at native direct routing as opposed to anything else?
Sure. Well, the biggest difference is when you're actually a native direct routing partner, depending on what part of the pond you're on. The big thing there is that what we do is we take advantage of the full PBX system that Microsoft provides, which is what some of the others are not currently doing. They're using a third party connection on the back end, which just adds another layer of risk, another layer of vulnerability, and sometimes it adds cost as well. And really, you can kind of do the litmus test on it overall, which is you could say, hey, can I use any physical phone on Microsoft Teams? If they say yes, then you know it's not native, right? You should be only using certified Microsoft Teams handsets and headsets overall. The other part of that too is that it's not supported by Microsoft. So when something like that does happen, that is an issue. Microsoft is not going to be able to help you, and in a lot of cases, the partner that you're working with, they're going to kind of have their hands tied as well. The other thing is if they're telling you that your auto attendants, your call queues, which are pretty much your old school telephony hunt groups, when they tell you you got to go to their portal instead of your Office 365 portal to make those changes, you know it's not native. So again, what happens is it just adds more risk. The voice connectivity that you're using as far as the actual language, it's not the same as what Microsoft recommends. So you have a lot of different worries that you have to worry about on the back end when you're not native into it overall. And then even the integration with Outlook overall, that you could just click to dial from Outlook. You don't have to change Windows to actually provide any of those functionality. It just really makes a big difference.
Yeah. So, I mean, how far up the list of sort of concerns is this sort of security and this integration piece from a partner perspective? What are they asking you? What are they worried about at the moment?
Well, the security is a big part of it, right? I mean, I think when you look at Cisco and Microsoft in both cases, a lot of IT organizations really sleep better at night knowing that they are using Microsoft and Cisco because of the stability and because of the security that it brings to the table. I mean, we could talk about the third 800-pound gorilla in the room, Zoom, right? We all know that Zoom has had a lot of security breaches lately, and they'll get some of that corrected overall, but just the foundation is a little bit different overall. So when you're looking at the partners and you're looking at organizations, IT teams are not really growing, right? In a lot of cases, they're just kind of either staying the same or shrinking in some cases. And the IT teams don't have the times to really go in, don't have really the effort or time to go in and actually start studying and really figure out what's best for them. And these partners come into play that are these consultants that can bring multiple solutions to the table to really help out overall. So I think first and core is how could I provide the right tools to my customers, to my employees, but also want to make sure it's a stable, secure platform. And then let's talk about the rest. But those two are just fundamental and core to what they need, and partners bring that to the table.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, let's get into WebEx Teams a little bit now. What's on the roadmap for WebEx? What are your partners asking you about around that piece of technology?
Sure. So similar to Microsoft Teams, WebEx Teams is kind of funny that they both are using the same name. So maybe they had the same third party marketing arm that came out with Teams overall. But Cisco is playing a little bit of catch up right now. I think Cisco, when you're looking at Cisco and Microsoft first was looked at as a unified communications platform that does voice. And I think Cisco is the opposite. It's a voice platform that does unified communications and does collaboration. So I think there's a little bit of synergies there on both ends. You can see that Microsoft and Cisco overall are kind of playing nice with each other. I think that they want to continue to be the leaders, and they realize that. I think the last statistic on it, David, and don't quote me on it exactly, but I think they owned about 73% of the market share as far as unified communications. Everybody else has 27%, right? So a big difference there. And when you're looking at Cisco, what they're doing on the collaboration side and integrating that with either their Cisco Webex calling, their Cisco HCS, which is what we provide on the back end. And then also when you start to add in Meraki and you start to add in the contact center side with WebEx Contact Center or UCCX, they're bringing the contact center piece, which Microsoft is partnering with some organizations. And I think that's where a differentiation comes. So I think the collab side, Microsoft from an instant messaging and presence standpoint, I think they've cornered that, and I think that they've known that. And I think Cisco is saying, great, we'll give you guys that win, but we're going to take the win on the contact center side because we're developing that through Cisco Webex Contact Center and through their UCCX, which is their enterprise offering.
Yeah, I mean, do you think Microsoft will ever get round to fulfilling these small sort of niche plays around their product that they currently partner for, or do you think we're always going to have this sort of rich ecosystem behind these two vendors, really?
Yeah, I think Microsoft is very comfortable about where they're at. I think for them, it's really just adoption on their existing licenses, what they have, whether it's an E3 or a Visio plan, right? I mean, that's I think what they're core in. I don't really think that they'll look at the contact center at least here short term. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. It would make sense at some point, but at the same time, they depend. I think about 90% of their business comes from value-added resellers like CallTower and some of the partners on the CCaaS side. So I think for them, they rather have these organizations continue to do the support and really do the customization. But Microsoft just wants to be the brains, right? They want to continue to be that core platform, and that's what Cisco is doing to a point as well.
Sure. Okay. I mean, if you could encapsulate call tower sort of USPs, Microsoft, Cisco, partners and customers. There's a lot of places you can buy both of those vendors, from. Why should people really come to call tower? What are those core sort of USPs?
Yeah, I think with us, the first and foremost is you want to make sure that you have an organization that has the experience both with Cisco and Microsoft, which we bring to the table, right? 18 years or so partnering with Cisco and about 12 or 13 years already partnering with Microsoft overall. So we're a proven organization, right? We have hundreds of thousands of users overall on our platform. So I think that's one is the validity of what we bring to that table. The second part of it is with the integration of Metaswitch, which ironically enough, we have been a Metaswitch partner for years already, and Microsoft bought them. So that's obviously, I think, a benefit. The Metaswitch side of it is really critical because it does fill in the gaps of the limitations of both of those platforms. So for us, we're not going to send one of our customers to go get those additional features from a third party or multiple different vendors. We're able to provide and fill in those gaps that each platform, again, has their advantages, but they have their limitations. So we're able to do that. The fact that we're in 7 different countries that we could provide the services, it gives that one-stop shop type of vendor mentality for the IT organizations to really manage. That really helps them. The 24/7 support that you could call in and you could talk to a human of somebody that actually knows those platforms. We require a lot of certifications with our tier 1 support and up so that it's not a glorified answering service. They're not going to answer and say no one's going to call you back. They can resolve the issues right then and there. I think really make a big difference. And then when you start to add in CRM integration, CCaaS, when you start to add in the SD-WAN piece that we do with our CT Cloud Boost, which is really for us, it's more about SD Internet because we're really just enhancing all those cloud applications that usually customers are already moving to. It's just a value add that a lot of customers really see the benefit that we bring to the table. We're doing that heavy lifting for them. We've done that selection on the CCaaS and on the UCaaS side, and we still give them options, right? So we still give them the ability to integrate or make changes. And then just even the equipment side of it that you want to get headsets, we could give you those. We're a big Polycom and Yealink and Cisco hardware providers on all 3. So we could provide those different types of equipment as well. So you don't have to go somewhere else and get them.
Sure. Okay. Well, you've already mentioned you don't have a crystal ball, but I would like a bit of insight into 2021. We're in the strange period. It looks like it's going to continue at least for a short while. Well, hopefully only a short while. I mean, what is 2021 going to bring? For the market and for CallTower?
Sure. Well, I think what happened over the first few months during the pandemic, and I'm talking more March, April, May, and probably June, is that you saw that there was a big scramble, right? It was kind of the big scramble of 2020. It was everybody needs to go remote. We need to figure out how we could get the right tools in the hands of our employees that are now going to be remote with security in mind. But let's just get that done. Let's just get that done as quickly as we can and stabilize our organization so that we can continue to service our customers. So I think that phase 1 is over. I think everyone's kind of been stable, and it kind of trickled a little bit more into the beginning of the fall season as well. And now what you're starting to see, and we're starting to see October, November, December, and probably into 2021 is IT organizations are shifting some of their budget that they had allocated for other items and really focusing on let's solidify our UCaaS and our CCaaS offering going forward. What is our long-term plan instead of just what we're going to band-aid to really make it work? So I think commercial real estate is probably a big negotiation tool coming up in 2021, right? You have large organizations like Google saying that they're not going back into the workforce or not going back to the office until June. Some are going to be permanently from home. So now the long-term decisions are what we're going to start to see. I think everybody was kind of looking at let's kind of plug up the holes, right, and figure out what we have to do short term. And now we're going into, okay, what are we going to do over the next 2 to 3 years? Because this is not going to change, right? It's the new reality that we have to work or deal with. And some companies are going to have people going to the office 2 days a week. Some are going to go 1 week yes, 1 week no. So now they're going to just continue to plan for that long term.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm quite enjoying this new reality that we're all in as well. It gives me a bit of extra flexibility of my life as it does with everyone. So, yeah. So, William, I think that's a really great place to end. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you for watching. You've been watching UC Today. My name's David Dungay. If you like today's chat, don't forget to give us a like or a share on social media. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, David.